Good evening and welcome to Sports Federation TV. My name is Alton Davids and I'm your host. As you know, for those who watch the show regularly, this show is about what makes sport happen in the Greater Western Cape. We are partners with the Western Cape Provincial Sport Confederation, where we talk a range of different codes of sport. We highlight a range of different codes of sport. We talk about sport in all the 6 different districts within the Western Cape. And tonight we focused on the Western Cape softball team. We focus on Cape Hull drivers based at Killarney. We chat about the Cape Town Two Oceans Marathon. We also chat to the guys from baseball. As you know, we are now going to move on to our first segment. Mr. Stephen Rodkin, head coach of Western Cape softball. You well?
Fine, sir.
Good, good. Lisa Erasmus, you well?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good. Stephen, you guys had an amazing tournament. A little bit of rained out. What was the tournament like? Let's take the big picture.
The tournament was for us was obviously very successful. We ecstatic to able to come home with the trophy. The team had lost in the final last year, so it was a great feeling to come back with a trophy this year. The team was well put together. What we tried our best in the selection process was to try and get as balanced the squad as possible, to give us cover in all our areas on the field and obviously in our hitting lineups. So yeah, we were very happy with the selection and came up with a good team who went on to win the tournament.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Lisa, which position do you play in softball? Let's start there.
I play centre field. That is my number 1 position. And then I'm also a backup pitcher.
I struggle with that as a centre outfield and then a backup pitcher. Rumor has it you pitched the whole game in the semi-final. I mean, that's a pressure position right there and then. And yet as a backup pitcher, you did the job. What was that about?
Well, my coaches called me into their room the night before the semi-final and asked me how I feel about starting. And obviously I had a few butterflies and I was a bit nervous. But I guess the coach had faith in me, and when I was on the mound, I think it's a lot of mind over matter, and if you're comfortable throwing to your catcher, it makes the job a lot easier. So it's just a matter of staying determined, staying focused, and getting the job done.
And I mean, talk me through how you manage that whole nervous feeling of knowing. I mean, you're going to sleep the night and you realize I'm pitching the next morning in a semi-final to the team that finished top of the group.
Yeah, I think it's really, you just got to, like I said, you just got to mentally prepare yourself. You know what you got to do tomorrow, so sleeping on it, thinking about it, visualizing the game the night before, and then waking up, making sure you get a good meal, and then going with the right attitude and just staying focused at all times.
Did you have any doubts that you'd not be able to pull it off?
When I first got asked if I'm keen to pitch, I had a few doubts, but then I think I overcame it after speaking to my catcher and a few of my other players, and obviously the coaches having confidence in me. It obviously helps with my confidence in getting the job done.
Okay. Stephen, what made you choose Lisa?
We had probably the longest selection meeting of the tournament that night, the night before the semi-final. And I think kind of in our makeup and what we were going for, Lauren was always going to throw the final. And I think the benefit for me is that I coach Lisa at club level as well, so I'm very aware of what she's capable of. And that was a big game, like you say. They topped the group after the round robin. So for us, it was just kind of going with somebody who we believed had the BMT, as they say. And we made a call and had chatted to Lisa, and we felt that was the right move for us to go with.
And it paid off.
Yeah, no, definitely paid off. The plan was for her to get us through 3 innings, and then obviously take it from there based on the situation of the game. I think after 3 innings, when I had looked at her, there was no way she was coming off the mound at that stage, and I think she was there to stay for the whole game, and we obviously had decided to let her go as far as she can, and I think she did very well to get through the entire game.
Did your opponents think that you would come with that strategy?
I doubt it. I think they were preparing themselves for Lauren, who went as our frontline pitcher. So I think kind of their preparation was expecting to see Lauren on the mound. So yeah, as they say, a big curveball when Lisa stepped up there.
We'll chat to Lauren in a bit. Lisa, having pulled it off, what did that make you feel like at the end of that game?
I couldn't stop smiling. I think it's just, I had this feeling through me. It was just, I was just really happy. And of course, I knew I had a strong team behind me as well, so we have quite a solid defensive team out there. So they obviously, my job is to throw the ball over the plate, and their job is to make the outs pretty much. Obviously, it's a team effort. So yeah, I was just really happy when they called ball game, and I think it was 6-3, and yeah, just smiling the whole time.
And then having played the final, you walk away and you get called up into the SA All-Star team. What was that like? I mean, do you think that was part of your performance in the semi-final?
I'm sure it does have a role to play. I think the tournament on a whole, I think they look at everything. Yeah, because that's always I think everyone wants to play as high as they can at the highest level. So getting called up to the All-Star team is always an honor.
What's next for you?
We'll carry on playing ball, and hopefully we go on tour in 2 years' time, and then representing our country.
So you still believe you're going to play a lot longer than just next season?
Definitely. I think I'm going to go for another 10 years.
Sure. It's a tall order, but the softball's that kind of game. We're going to say goodbye to Lisa, and we're going to play a clip of the winning team after the last ball was pitched, and then we'll call out Lauren. Lisa, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Elton.
Let's check out this clip.
Pitching there.
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, you're watching Sports Federation TV. We're chatting softball. We're chatting the MPC champions of 2016. Western Cape softball won the championships. We're joined in studio by Lauren, who's just joined us. Lauren, you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Lauren, Stephen has spoken very highly of you as pitching in the final as the #1 pitcher. What is that like? Pitching as going to tournament as the #1 pitcher. Let's start there.
Number one. No, it's just normal. It's just going there to do your job. But if they call it #1, it's fine.
How would you explain your job if you call it just a job?
It's something you have to do. It's not something special, but to be the #1 pitcher.
Stephen, how would you describe that feeling to be, or that role as the #1 pitcher?
I think, like I said earlier, going into the tournament, we always knew what Lauren's role was going to be. So yeah, it's from a coaching point of view, it's nice to have somebody like Lauren on your pitching staff. In our preparations for the games, a lot of the stuff we spoke about was we'd always go to Lauren. Should we run into trouble, we could always go to Lauren. And I think that's the type of player she is and the kind of confidence that she gives you as a coach. But yeah, she doesn't like to admit it, but she was definitely our first choice pitcher going into this tournament.
I mean, Lauren, you've got a wealth of experience playing in the World Series on our home ground at Turfel, and now playing MPC. I mean, you come with a wealth of experience. Did any of that influence the way you pitched in the final, do you think?
Yes, the composure, composure.
How did you manage the nerves? What techniques do you use to keep you focused?
I use the crowd.
The
The
crowd.
crowd is my adrenaline.
So explain that to us. How does that work?
Like, if you see a big crowd, you get that adrenaline rush to actually pitch faster and to be like the best. Like, that's your stage. So if you see that big crowd, you want to show off, in other words. Yeah. So you don't really feel nervous. You just feel more excited when you see it.
And do you take the crowd into account when they against you, or is it does it only work when they supporting you
When they're against me, then I'm throw harder.
to prove them wrong?
Yeah, to prove them wrong.
Did you find that works as a team dynamic in a general sense in softball, Steve?
Not really. I think a lot of the stuff we try to do in our preparation is to try and let the players almost zoom out of the crowd, because the risk you run is that there may be lots of positives coming from the crowd, but there's also negative stuff.
Yes.
So you obviously try to keep the negativity away from the players. So we try to teach to not to ignore the crowd. But if that's what gets Lauren going and it works, then it's fine. I mean, we don't have a problem with that.
We're chatting to Stephen Rodkin, the head coach of the Western Cape winning team, and also to Lauren Mulder, who is the #1 pitcher, although she doesn't think that she's all that, as they call it. Lauren, you've now reached the All-Star SA team. How did that make you feel?
Well, that's one of the goals I achieved, because going into MPC, that I always want to become like the top pitcher of the tournament, which I came third, and to make the All-Star team. Then you're doing something right in the tournament.
Yes.
So it's a goal achieved.
Stephen, where to from here for this team? I mean, you've now won the national championships. Is there a succession plan for next year's tournament, or what's the big picture for Western Cape softball?
I think the bigger picture for us is we're obviously going into our off season now, but when we get going again, is to obviously put the team together again and go defend your title next year at NPC, which is sometimes always a lot more difficult in winning it. And then I believe there's some plans in place to go play in 1 or 2 other tournaments. There's the Gordon Monk tournament, which they play in January every year up in Johannesburg. I believe that may be on the cards, so this team may go represent Cape Town there again. So that's for us short term going forward.
Lauren, I mean, as you said, you didn't reach all your goals. What are you planning to do in the off season now to improve, to be better next year?
Well, the umpire told me that you just have to throw more strikes to get to the top pitcher. So all you have to do is get that habit in throwing more strikes, and your like your techniques, perfect your techniques in pitching. Yeah.
And that's your goal in the off season now, to
Yeah.
work on that.
Yes.
Okay. Stephen, are you gonna help Lauren build this so that come next year she'll be the #1 pitcher?
Definitely. We've already been speaking about our pre-season program and getting that going probably in the next 2-3 months or so. So yeah, definitely in the off season we'll be working hard.
Stephen, thank you for your time. Good luck with what happens in the off season, and good luck for next year's tournament.
Thank you.
Lauren, thank you for being #1 pitcher and for going to work hard on your strikes and come back next year with a medal again.
Thank you.
Let's take an ad break. When we come back, we'll be chatting KPL drivers. See you now.